Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Up Close on METV. I'm Charles Clapsaddle, station manager for Manatee Educational Television, and it's my great pleasure to have with us today two individuals who are making significant contributions to our community, not only to talk about what they're doing now, but this exciting collaboration that they have. So please, let's welcome Mr. Nate Jacobs, the artistic director of the Westcoast Black Theater Troupe. Nate, it's great to see you again.
Glad to be back, Charles. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to see you. You're one of the most talented men in this entire area, and what you've done with the Westcoast Black Theater Troupe is to be celebrated.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
And joining Mr. Jacobs today is one of our favorite guests, the executive director of Unidos Now, Miss Luz Corcuera. Luz, thank you so much, and it's so great to see you all the time.
Thank you for having me, Charles.
Well, first of all, I want to talk to Nate a little bit about the exciting things that are happening at the Westcoast Black Theater Troupe. And I also want to talk about this exciting collaboration that you're doing with Unidos Now. But first of all, if you could, Nate, could you tell us a little bit about your season opener, which is coming up relatively soon?
Yeah, sure. We are all excited about In the Heights. In the Heights is a musical, Broadway musical written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Everybody know him as the creator of the big wow of Broadway, which is Hamilton.
Hamilton, yes.
So this was his first hit, and so we're very excited about presenting it at Westcoast Black Theater Troupe. I wanted to bring it to the stage because this season we are talking about equality and justice, inclusiveness and plurality
Right.
of the races all working together. In the Heights was the perfect piece for, I thought, to expand our spectrum on diversity. Everybody know us as the diverse platform in
Correct.
the area. So everyone, to my surprise, because I thought a lot of our patrons didn't know about In the Heights, but they did, and everybody's excited about coming in to see our production of the show. We have an incredible cast, phenomenal director. It's going to be a great show.
And it's very exciting, you know, from a theatrical point of view, because this is the first time that this play has been staged in this area. Is that correct?
Yes, it has. I heard that the Oslo did some form of it some years back, but not the full-out production. This is the first time the full production, Broadway production, has been done in our community.
Very, very exciting.
Yes.
And you know, for those of not familiar with In the Heights, it tells the story of a neighborhood in Washington Heights area, New York, and the main characters are all Latino, and we get a story from that perspective. And who better, Tino, to include in a perspective about Latino than Miss Luz Corcuera. Now, one of the key things that's happening, not only with your performance, is that you've developed a neighborhood forum, a conversation.
Yes, WBTT Voices.
Which is a communication forum. It's called the Hidden Voices, the Immigrant Experience in Southwest Florida. And on October 23rd, from 6:30 to 8, you are hosting a forum, which is a wonderful conversation to have, and you invited Ms. Corcuera to be part of that.
Yes.
Luz, let me ask you, when you were approached by Mr. Jacobs and the Westcoast Black Theater Troupe, why was it important for you to participate in this?
First of all, I was really glad that In the Heights was going to be produced locally. And second, that Unidos Now was invited to be a part of the process. We do have a large immigrant community, particularly Latino community in Sarasota and Manatee counties. We've grown like over 350% in the next 10 years, so the Latino population continues to go up. It was important for us to be able to show that there are so many faces. So Hidden Voices will bring out those voices that people are not very familiar with, the stories of some of the immigrants. But what I like about this particular panel is that we do have people who are immigrants themselves or connected with immigrant parents, not only Latinos. We do have Dr. Jane, we have an immigrant young woman, Kelly Kirchner, who is very committed to the immigration advocacy.
If I may, I just want to share the people who will be participating in the panel that, you know, that the West Coast Black Theater has put together. First of all, it's going to be moderated by Kelly Kirchner, who is Vice President Dean at Eckerd College, and also just a wonderful person, and I believe was one of the co-founders of Unidos Now. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And he's a very focused and intelligent individual and be a wonderful moderator. Yes. Aside from yourself, you have an individual named Lucero Guzman, who moved to the United States when they were just the age of 1, and from her perspective as a young person will offer a kind of a great perspective. And you also have Dr. Neela Jain, who's very connected with the University of South Florida and comes from an immigrant family herself. So that's a wonderful perspective. But if that's not enough, you've also invited Dr. Eddie Renier. And
Yes.
Dr. Eddie Renier, born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and immigrated to this country, is now a successful, very successful psychologist in this area. So these perspectives will really be able to have a wonderful conversation about the immigrant experience.
And I think the connection with the play itself is very important because I think we have so many issues that the immigrant people still have to go through. The process of adaptation, the process of integration, that story of pain and fear and success in trying to achieve the American dream. That has not changed. So when the play was developed, the theme around the Puerto Rican community trying to find a life in New York is still very present. We could really transport these to Sarasota and Manatee.
And I think you can do that anywhere nationally. You can do, I mean, this sort of conversation can be played anywhere nationally. But one of the things, and if I may, I'd like to talk to Nate just a minute. This is a very unique perspective that you're doing,
Yes.
talking about immigration. Tell us a little bit why that was important for you to not only focus on that, but what are some of those other perspectives that you might be looking at in more of your theatrical performances?
Well, within the Heights, we are doing a celebration of the pivotal time of 1960s, which was for African Americans a very pivotal year and time in history, where we began to put our voice out on the front line about fighting for our equality. So we do The Mountaintop, which talks about the last night Dr. Martin Luther King was alive, the day before he got assassinated, a phenomenal, powerful play. And then we do Soul Man, which celebrates the music that was pivotal during that period in the 1960s to be a soothing salve for all the pain and anger and disappointment that was going on, especially for people of color and immigrants. And then Lady Day, which we will be inviting the Broadway legend Melba Moore here to play our Billie Holiday in Lady Day at Emerson Bar and Grill. We're very excited about. And then for the fun, during the holidays, we do a Motown Christmas, which had their heyday in the 1960s. So I felt in the Heights, because this fight for equality is an ongoing fight, and it probably has a few more years to find its place where all people are being treated fairly. It's a wonderful story, like she said, about this Latino family trying to find its place in America and what winning a lotto really means for them, how it changes their lives, but then they begin to look at the money and their key and core values and where they lie in this country.
Well, first of all, I have a couple of comments for you. Is one, the West Coast Black Theater Troupe is to be congratulated for the scope and the diversity of the plays that you're bringing to this community. It's certainly an exciting ensemble of work that you have geared up for, and I think each one of them is its own standalone little masterpiece that the West Coast Black Theater Troupe is come to be known for. But this particular play and your conversation, your forum that you're doing, is so important, Luz, for a community that, as you said, is becoming very Hispanic, and a growth of Hispanic population continues to grow throughout Sarasota and Manatee County. I'd like for you to get your perspective on things. You know, immigration, civil rights have certainly been in the news lately. There's certainly a lot of conversations that are going on on a national basis. In our community, why is it important for us, for Mr. Jacobs and his staff and talent, for you and Unidos Now, to sit down and have this conversation about immigration?
I think it's important to have the conversation because we have to honor the diversity of the community. And immigration is a topic that it's very heated, very controversial these days. And it is important for the community to acknowledge that we have people who work here, who are part of the economic movement, who are part of the civic life, people that give contributions every day.
Right.
And in so many cases, they sustain the social security system because they pay taxes that they will never probably be able to enjoy. And so I think it's really, really important to look at what the community is all about and also the contributions of the immigration. And I want to say that we've always talked about the melting pot, America being the melting pot. However, an interesting concept in terms of integration is that probably we should look this more like a fruit salad. In order to be part of the melting pot, it means that you have to melt. We don't want anyone to lose their identity, to lose the core of who they are, their ideas, their values. What we would like is for people to be able to keep their own flavor and color and be part of the American fruit salad.
And I think that's a wonderful analogy. But you know, one of the things too, and again, you know, hats off to you for the diversity of your panel, it really reflects the diversity of the immigration experience. Some people have come to this country, you know, illegally, and they don't have papers, they're undocumented. Some people have struggled with immigration. So the immigration experience is very diverse. And I think that is reflected on your panel, and I think that was the intent of what you wanted to achieve. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. It's extremely, everybody comes with their stories of, everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be able to achieve their dreams. Sometimes people feel that it's to the point of coming to a country illegally to reach their goals in life. Because the goal is to be a better person, not necessarily to break laws. But America has laws set in place for its reasons. But what we want to do at WBTT is continue to keep the conversation going, and the voices ringing out across the land that even African American history and experience is essential and it is important. And just like Luz was saying, Latino, their culture is important. We all, you know, when it comes to the core of a person, we all are the same.
And all have a contribution to make.
Definitely. That's why everybody's excited about our theater, because of its unique contribution.
And I must say again, you know, to salute your history with the West Coast Black Theater as you're coming into your 19th year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Again, congratulations on that, and it's a remarkable achievement.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it.
The theater, and especially the West Coast Black Theater Troupe, plays an important role in the community to have discussion, to open people's minds. You know, to have ideas displayed in a theatrical manner, which makes people think and open their eyes, and to reflect upon, you know, issues of the day. And none is more important in this community or surrounding communities than the question of immigration. I think one of the most important things that's come up recently in immigration policy on a national level is the DACA. And Luz, you know, why is that such a critical thing now? And why do you think this conversation that you're going to have with West Coast Black Theater Troupe, you know, could address this? I see you have a young person who's coming to talk about that.
I think the conversation of the dreamers, as we call them, is really key. These are children who were brought by their parents when they were very young. And in this case, one of our panelists, she came here when she was 1 year old. So they don't have a fault of their own coming here. It's a decision that the parents made. However, these kids have been able to go to school. This is the only country that they know, they love. So for them to think about being asked to go to a country that they have no relationship with is very difficult. I think it's very traumatic. But also, those kids are amazing. These are kids who work really hard, who help their families having jobs, who excel in a school, who have big dreams. So we don't want to lose those kids. We want to be able to keep them here because these are the kids that we need to ensure a healthy future for the nation.
Well, and I think that's really important, having the opportunity to have recorded some of Unidos Now's graduations, and you see the caliber and the quality of the young men and women who want to go on to become pediatricians and teachers and lawyers and police officers. And these are young men and women that, you know, are here, you know, following their dreams. I always am curious, which one of these kids should go back to their country of origin? The one who wants to be the pediatrician, or the one who wants to be the teacher, or work with pre-K, or work with handicapped kids? It's a very curious conversation to have. I think it's really important, and again, hats off to the Westcoast Black Theater Troupe, whose vision in putting this type of conversation together is so important to the community. What do you want the community to take away from this kind of shared experience? Nate, what do you want them to come and listen? What would you like them to take away from the conversation?
The awareness of the issues that are going on with people of color in this country. And to continue the conversation, so that the only way for evil to prevail is for good people to do nothing, to say nothing, to sit silent, and just let things go by. That was sort of like how I felt when it came to diversity in the cultural scene here. It was just a conversation that nobody was talking about. And then one person actually told me, diversity in Sarasota, Nate Black, you're the only one talking about that. But I was like, well, I don't think I should be the only one. This is like important. And then I had to work it out where I had to show them how important it was.
And very successfully too. And if I must say so, you know, the contributions that the Westcoast Black Theater Troupe has made to this community, this area, this region, has been phenomenal. Year after year, you have succeeded beyond wildest dreams, I would say. And each year there's such a caliber and quality of performances and performances that are out there. It's something that you should be very, very proud of.
I'm proud, and I feel very fortunate to be able to do the work, the art that I do in this community, and to give performing artists who would not have platform if it were not for Westcoast Black Theater Troupe. They would not be the stars of the plays and the shows that we do on the platform. I tell them, you guys have opportunities I didn't have as an actor in this community, because this unique platform is now supported and embraced and celebrated. So it's that was a phenomenal place and a way to give young artists who are going to make their mark in the world through the stage or before a camera, what's called a landing pad, a launching pad, I should say.
Exactly.
To aspire to their dreams. So I'm proud of that, because I know I'm making a difference in somebody's journey.
And the performances of the West Black Theater Troupe are, you know, the
We
hottest ticket in town.
We try to keep it exciting.
And not only, you know, do you thought-provoking performances and things that, you know, of serious nature, but, you know, they're uplifting musicals and you know, performances that are exceptional. And I can see why it's so important for you to partner with the Hispanic community to outreach. And, you know, of course, having, you know, people like Kelly Kirshner and Luz Corcuera be part of this conversation just add to that value of what that conversation can be. And Luz, you know, obviously immigration is a critical issue that's in the country. Tell us a little bit about how you judge what's going on in both Sarasota and Manatee and those immigration issues that are facing just ordinary families?
I think that right now, many people are really concerned about the future of the younger population who may not have the proper documentation, and the DACA program being canceled and being discussed behind scenes. All we can do is to hope that people will come to their senses and realize that they can't punish these kids for the mistakes or the decisions that their parents made. And also, it's a good opportunity for minorities and people of color, as Nate was mentioning, to realize that we have a lot in common.
Yeah.
More than any
Differences,
differences.
yeah.
We do have a lot in common. We go through the same pain in having to fight for having a place in this world, but also to make people understand that we have the same values. We
Yes.
all are parents who want the best for their children.
Right.
We have dreams, and we work really, really hard. You ask any entrepreneur in the community, and I've been having conversations with people who own small businesses
Right.
and big businesses, and they all tell me that their best workers are the Latino workers, and they wish they could do more for them to be able to realize their dreams. So it's not that people are here trying to milk the system as they try to portray. You know, people are here working really hard every day and being a part of this community. And when the arts community is aware of an issue, I think it's the perfect partnership.
Very
Because
much so.
everybody will respect the arts.
Yeah.
And then we can have the conversation that we need to have.
I
And I
agree.
think that's a great combination. And again, congratulations to both of you and for the vision of West Coast Black Theater Troupe to start these conversations, which I think are essential. I just want to, again, reinforce the fact that this Hidden Voices, the Immigrant Experience in Southwest Florida, will be hosted at the West Coast Black Theater Troupe on October 23rd, which is right around the corner, and it's going to be at 6:30 to 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And for reservations for it, you can call the number that's up on the screen, 941-366-1505. It's a full forum moderated by Kelly Kirshner, who's a wonderful individual and can bring out the best in everybody, and a wonderful panel of a diverse immigrant experience, which I think it would give your audiences kind of those different perspectives. And I think
Yes.
that's important to have.
Definitely. We're very excited about the collaboration, and we're hoping that everybody will walk away a little more aware and a little more stirred up to make a difference. Yeah.
And, and I must say, if I can take a couple of minutes, if I may, Nate, to talk about, the West Coast Black Theater Troupe and the successes that you've had. I mean, they're far too numerous to mention. But of all the shows that you've staged recently and, in your 19-year history, are there one or two that kind of stand out to you that you feel, no, this was something I'm glad that we did?
I feel that way about all of them. But,
It's like naming
some of
your
my
favorite child, is it?
It has been one we did last summer, which was How I Got Over, which celebrated the culture of gospel music, which is integral in the experience of African American culture. It runs through the blood veins of our people. That was the therapy that I saw affect my grandmother and my mother. They would work really, really hard, and my mother was a domestic. She worked across the river, as they say, in wealthy people's homes. My grandmother worked in the local hospital, but she retired and didn't want to go back to work. She worked cleaning homes as well. But on Sunday morning, when they would get in those churches and that music would light up, and you could see it affect every fiber of their being. The smiles would come across their face, tears rolled down their eyes. Sometimes being young, you didn't understand why it affected them that way, but it goes way back to almost slave cotton fields where they would sing, because that was the only thing they could hold on to for hope. To imagine a world that was better, a world that was fair, a world where they didn't have to work from sunup to sundown, and it was found in the music. So that was a very special show. It was chosen for the National Black Theater Festival.
Right.
Was a big hit out there in North Carolina. To a mainly African American audience, and for me as the creator and the playwright, to stand in an audience of 600 people, mostly African American, and see their experience played back to them, and those same tears rolling down their faces, and the hands going up in the air, and the hand claps. I was like, wow, how powerful is this? So that is the most recent special show that we've been able to offer.
And you bring that same kind of passion and commitment, dedication, vision, and creativity to all of the performances of West Coast Black Theater Troupe. It's a wonderful experience, and I would encourage everybody to see about your other
Definitely
plays.
see In the Heights, yes. I want them to see
In the
show.
Heights, and perhaps a subscription to some of the other
Definitely.
performances that you have.
And then in a hurry, because we're doing fairly well. We're getting pretty popular here, and so
Very popular.
run to the box office, people. We want you in that theater. We want you to have a seat.
Well, I must say that the West Coast Black Theater Troupe is a wonderful theatrical company with great success,
Yes.
and it's a really value to this community. But I would say that you've gone even a step further by partnering with Luz Coquera and others to present this immigration forum, this Hidden Voices, the immigrant experience in Southwest Florida. Luz, kind of we're running out of time, but I want to just touch base with you quickly. The Latino experience in here in Manatee and Sarasota County, it hasn't always been great. There's gaps in education and healthcare, housing and job opportunities. But there's significant progress that has been made along the way. What would you like to see? What is your hopes for the Latino community as you move forward?
I would hope that we would continue to focus on education, because regardless of what happens in the future, education is something that no one can take away from a person. Mm-hmm. And nobody will be able to uneducate the educated. So we would love to continue working on education, but also fostering integration in the larger community, and for them to improve their own opportunities by having better jobs, being able to learn the language.
Right.
And that's basically what Unidos Now mission is. We try to empower the Latino community to achieve the American dream through education. And our tagline says it all: elevate, educate, integrate.
Well, Luz, under your leadership, under your vision, Unidos Now provides a very valuable service for the Latino youth in our community, but also is a great example for all of the Latino community to say, Unidos Now is there and hopes to help you in some way, in some fashion. And really, under your leadership, it's done amazing things.
Thank you, Charles.
Mr. Jacobs, I'm going to give you the last word. You're a very talented man. We've had the opportunity to work with you on a couple of different occasions. This vision that West Coast Black Theater Troupe is doing, partnerships with Luz and the other individuals who are going to participate in your Hidden Voices forum, very important, and you're to be congratulated on that, because that's really community-based, and that's what your theater is about, is to bring theater and that experience, that personal experience to each and every individual.
Well, we're very excited about the collaboration. We look forward to the event. Want to invite the community out, and we're going to continue to bring WBTT Voices to the platform with other interesting topics. So very excited about the opportunity.
And I'm just going to say it again, October 23rd, which is just a short ways away, 6:30 to 8, at the West Coast Black Theater Troupe, 10th Way in Sarasota. But you can find out information by just calling up 366-1505 and to find out more about it.
Yes.
I want to say, Luz, thank you for joining us. I know how busy you are and how committed you are to so many different things. I want to thank you for joining us, and thank you for participating in what this very valuable panel is going to bring to this community.
Thank you, Charles, and thanks to METV for always being there for us.
Well, thank you, Luz. And Mr. Jacobs, it's always a pleasure to see you. You bring such an excitement and a dynamic to everything that you do. And I think this is the latest in a long run of successful things that you've completed. And I would encourage everybody to go to the West Coast Black Theater Troupe for a theatrical experience, for a learning experience, and for something that's good for you as a community member to know more about.
Thank you, Charles, for your excitement and your appreciation. I truly appreciate you for all you do.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us on this special edition of Up Close on METV. Please find out more information about this wonderful opportunity, Hidden Voices, the Immigrant Experience in Southwest Florida, hosted by WBTT on October 23rd. Find out more at 366-1505. And we'll see you next time on Up Close on METV.